Yes, good morning. In the last video we have discussed about the graph of sine function. Now we are going to discuss the graph of cosine function. It is the same thing. Y is equal a cosine bx. Cosine bx. Now what is the amplitude? Here the amplitude, this is the same as in sine function, so it is absolute A, and the period is equals 2 pi over absolute B, which is so this is the same rule. Now we will discuss the same problem. The graph y is equal, it is 3 cosine x. So what is A, what is B? A is equal 3, so this is A, and B is equal the angle of cosine function, this is 1, so I write it 1. Now the solution is amplitude is equal absolute A, which is equal 3, which in turn implies 3, and the period is 2 pi over absolute B, which is equal 2 pi over B. What is B value? It is 1, so the answer is 2 pi. So I got it, the amplitude and period. This is the same technique we will follow. So what we follow in the sine function, so first we make a graph, after that we make a schedule, right? So here this is the schedule. Here I write it in terms of, okay, this is the schedule, and this is my x-axis and y-axis, and the y-axis. Okay, okay, now here we have, this is y-axis, this is x-axis, this is 0, right? And here x, this is y. Now what is the amplitude? What is the amplitude here? It is plus 3 to minus 3. Here plus 3 and minus 3, and the full period is 2 pi. The same story. What is the half? What is the half of 2 pi? It is pi. What is the half of pi? It is pi over 2. Next, multiply by 3. So if you multiply, you will get what? 3 pi over 2. So this is the same concept what we follow in the sine function. We will go with this one, multiply by 3, right? Now just plot the graph. What are the graphs here? First write the points. The points are here 0, here pi over 2, pi, and then 3 pi over 2, and then 2 pi. So this is the schedule. Okay, so we have to plot the points. Where we have to plot the points? Here, if I substitute 0 here, if I substitute x equals 0 in the y, what will get? Cosine 0 is 0, So therefore the value is 3 here, right? And the next point, if I substitute 90 pi over 2 in the cosine, it becomes 0. Therefore here just 2 point is enough to know the behavior of the graph. It will start with 3, then it goes to pi over 2 0, then minus 3, then 0 again, here plus 3. So if you draw the graph look like this. This is the graph, right? So since it is plus, therefore it will start with the 3. What is the difference between the sine and cosine function? The cosine start with amplitude, whereas the sine start with the origin. So this is the only difference between the sine and cosine graph. Now we will take another example. Graph y is equal minus 4 cosine pi over 2 x, as same as here. What is a? Minus 4. This is minus 4, right? A is equal minus 4, b is equal pi over 2. So solution here, the amplitude which is equal absolute a, which is minus 4, which is 4, and period 2 pi over absolute b, here 2 pi over, here pi over 2. What happened here? This is cancel, pi with the pi cancel, and the 2 goes up, so you'll have 4. So I got it, the amplitude and the period. This is 4, period is also 4. The same thing, just I have to draw the graph of this, the schedule and the graph. There is a schedule here, and then this is the graph, x-axis and y-axis. Okay, this is x-axis and this is y-axis, and here the x coordinate and here y coordinate. So just we have to fill the schedule here. The last problem it is 3, and it goes 0, then it goes minus 3, then 0 and plus 3. Now the same thing here I am doing with the amplitude. The amplitude is plus 4, and here minus 4, and the full period is 4, and this is my origin. Okay, so what is the half story? What is the half of this? This is 2. What is the half of this? It is 1. Multiply by 3, you will get 3. Multiply by 3 for all the problem, just multiply by 3. So I write it the values here. It is 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So this is the values. Okay, now we have to draw the graph first. Since it is minus 4, if I substitute 0 here, cosine 0 is 1 into minus 4, therefore the graph start with minus 4. This is minus 4. The next point it will be here, the next point it goes to plus 4, the next point 0, and the next point you will get minus 4. So this is your graph. Yes. So what is the values here? It start with minus 4, 0, it goes plus 4, then again it comes 0, again minus 4. Why it is start with minus? Due to the minus in the question, therefore the graph start with minus. But in the last problem we have a plus 3, therefore the graph start with plus 3. So this is the only difference between the minus and plus. And now we are going to see the next problem. Graph here y is equal 5 sine x over 4. 5 sine, we have discussed about the cosine, so we have to replace cosine x over 4. Okay, so what is a b here? This is a is equal 5 and b is the angle which is equal 1 over 4. So this is a and this is my b, right? And what is the amplitude? Absolute a, which is absolute 5, which is equal 5, and period, which is period is 2 pi over absolute b. It is 2 pi over absolute b, which is equal 1 over 4. So this goes up, the 1 over 4, the 4 goes up, so the answer is 8 pi. So this is the period and this is my amplitude. The same thing is scheduled here. What is the schedule and the graph? So the same thing, I have to draw the graph first. After that we will come to the schedule, the value of x and y. This is y and this is my x. This is x, this is y. And here we have the amplitude 0, here 0, and here the what is the amplitude? It goes with 5 and minus 5, and the value of the full period, it is 8 pi. Now what is the half story, half case? What is the half of 8 pi? It is 4 pi. What is the half of 4 pi? It is 2 pi. Multiply by 3, you will get 6 pi. 6 pi, right? So I write it the values 0, 2 pi, 4 pi, 6 pi, and 8 pi. 8 pi. Now what about the values here? The first, if I substitute 0, okay, if I substitute 0, it will start with 0. Cosine 0, you will get the value is here plus 5 here. The next it will come 0. The next it will usually the graph goes down, but due to the absolute value you have again plus 5, again here 0, again here plus 5. So the graph is looking like this. And then here this is a graph, right? So all the curves up, why? Due to the absolute value, all the curves up. Suppose if the same question is asking like this, so or I can write it the same question here, minus 5 cosine x over 4 absolute value. This is the absolute value of minus 5 cosine 4x over cosine x over 4. This is same, right? Since the absolute value, the minus is present inside the absolute, therefore it is almost same. This is same. Now if the minus is present outside, the negative sign, it is present in the outside the absolute, what happened? Y is equal minus cosine function. It is the same thing what we have. The amplitude, it is 3, a and b is 3 and the amplitude is 3, and here period is 2 pi over 3, and I can write it the graph. What is the graph here? Pi over 2 pi over 3. What is the half of this? What is the half of this one? So this is a full period. What is the half? So I got it here. If you multiply half, pi over 3, and then what is the half of this one? So I got it this, and multiply by 3, right? So it is multiply by 3, so you'll have minus 3 0 minus 3 again, due to the absolute value. Since it is absolute, minus is outside, all the curves down, right? So here in the last problem, the minus is inside, that's why it is all curves up. If it is minus is outside the absolute, all the curves will be down, it is due to the negative. Okay, so this, you the PDF file, you can find it in the description box. Thank you.